Hey guys, May Flom here, craftwithmay.com. Today's Friday favorite, Ranger Archival Ink in little tiny, look at my finger, okay? Look how small this is. And if that's not enough comparison for you, here is the regular size. So it's what, about a quarter of the size of a regular size of Archival Ink. Now, Archival Ink is a favorite of mine. The Jet Black is probably my most used ink pad. I have 3 of them because I use them all the time, and if I'm working on a project someplace or traveling or whatever, teaching, I'll bring a couple of them. So it's really great because Archival Ink, and I'll show you here, but Archival Ink goes on, think of it like the really nice, good pen of scrapbooking, but in ink, not a pen. So it's going to be long lasting. Once it's set, obviously if it's still wet, it might react with water. Once it's set, it will not react with water-based mediums. So for example, watercolor or distress ink or any of that, once that's dry and set, it's not going to react with anything else. It's a really nice stamping ink. And I love that they're doing these little pads because for a couple reasons. Number one, storage. Okay, storage for me, and I'm just going to swipe some on here. So that's Rose Madder, and then there's Olive. For me, size is a deal, and they're a little bit, this one's never been opened, so it's like, there it goes. Didn't want to open there, didn't want to play. For me to have these little tiny ones, now these are part of their Letter It line, which is a lot of the things in there, like the embossing powders are tiny. A lot of the stuff is set up to be really nice and easily portable. But you can see these are just a couple colors, how beautiful they are. I'm really loving this one. That's French Ultramarine. I'm really loving that one. Downside, I really don't, and I understand I'm on a cream paper versus white, but the colors really are not matching up on the lids to the inks. And that's just, I mean, that happens a lot. It's not really a negative. I'm just pointing it out just because I know that's really a deal breaker for some folks. Me, not so much. So we can, let's see, I'm just gonna play around. This is just a crayon that I'm just, a distress crayon that I'm just throwing on there because I'm just trying to get some color on there. And to show you, I can play with color mediums all over that stamped image. It's not going to, none of these guys really should. It's not going to affect anybody. It might change the color because I'm going over with a color, but the ink itself is not going to move. It's Archival Ink, just like the name says, so it's really easy to remember. And that is why I like that. These guys I'm liking for portability. Now on larger stamps, all it means is you're going to do a little more work. So for example, if I have, you know, this bigger stamp, I'm going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 7 or 8 times I'm going to have to stamp on a bigger stamp. So not ideal for if you do a lot of large stamps or if you're at home stamping, but if you have a very limited space, or if you want to get a couple of colors and, you know, you don't want to invest in full-size ink pads, these would be a great option. Personally, I love these, and I love that they're so little, and they've been in my go bag for when I go cropping or anything like that. But the standard size, which you can see, this part is ripped off because I always put tape on it when I travel so it doesn't fly open. This is a very, very well-loved ink pad. For larger stamping and that kind of thing, you know, when I can do one versus 7 or 8, is obviously a lot more ideal. But when I'm doing littler stamping or journaling and that kind of, all that kind of stuff, these little ones and on the go really have come in handy. And I love how, you know, really like, let's see, 6 to 8 of them. I could get 6 to 8 of them in my bag for the same space. That would be close to, you know, 1.5 ink pads. You know, it's like 1.5 ink pads space to get all 8 of these in. Anyhow, that's just another favorite. Why is it my favorite? Again, really good quality ink. I can color and play with it. It's archival for my scrapbooks, all of that good stuff. The little size is just kind of a newer, fun addition to the Ranger family. I love that they have a large one too. I love that they make different sizes so that each of us can kind of decide, you know, based on our own crafting styles, which size is best for us. What are your favorite ink pads? I would love to hear from you. Feel free to leave me a comment.